Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I have to ask, what motivated you to do this cult classic film, Superfly?
I mean, it was a job that was out there. Silver Pictures had the rights. They had a script. They came to me to talk about it. And the first version they had, the first script I read, was actually based on King Lear.
Oh, really?
It had been through a very Hollywood story over like 20 years. They had the rights. And the studio didn't want to make the movie about the same thing the movie was about and didn't want to call it Superfly. Why would you make super? So then they went and said, what if we did King Lear? So they took King Lear and made that into a street story. But then they lost the rights and they named it something else. And then they got the rights back and then they put it back on this King Lear and then they gave it to me. And I'm like, what is this? Isn't Superfly.
Right.
I'm like, oh, it's King Lear. I go, oh, that's a great idea. I would love to do Shakespeare in the hood. But that's not Superfly.
Right, right.
Let's do Superfly. And they said, all right, let's do Superfly. So we put that old script aside and we really dived into the original movie and started breaking down the essential character moments, the essential characters, their essential moments, things that have to happen. You know, that was really how things started evolving into the movie you saw.
Interesting. So Priest surpasses expectations from the original Superfly film. What does that say about the American dream? How does that speak to the American dream for anyone that's pursuing it now?
I mean, look, the American dream is that you can come here with nothing and end up on the top. You know, you could you could start from the very, very bottom and end up on the very top of the pile. And you know, that's Priest's story. We all have that feeling. We all have dreams we want to achieve, and his is, you know, he wants out. Ain't no one really want to live this life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the one he's in.
You've directed some of the most iconic music videos for the past couple of decades, from Rihanna to Drake, everybody in between. How has hip-hop from the 90s evolved, and how did that influence Superfly at all, especially working with the Future?
You know, it was the trap music sound. When we said we're going to go to Atlanta, we're going to get Future, we were really dealing in a sound of today.
Right.
Right. So we let that become what it was going to become, as opposed to making something that's retro or my personal taste in music, or, you know, it was none of those things. It was really taking the elements that the original had, and that Curtis Mayfield was speaking as a singular voice artistically about the movie itself, with music that was very much of the day. So that's what we wanted to do here. Say, all right, we have this one musician who's taking us into this world. His sound informs it, and it will be the music of the day. And that was hopefully the audience feels that's where we landed. Right.
Well, one thing that I love a lot about this film is how relevant it is to our current climate in the world. It touches on police brutality, along with many other themes. So talk to me about the social issues that you want to do, like, because they're subtly addressed and some you know, right there in your face, but talk to me about that a little bit.
I mean, again, they all evolved from the original film. In the original film, Priest, it gets caught up with dirty cops. At the end of the movie, he beats them up, and he outsmarts them. You can't touch me, you know, this whole thing. So he said, all right, Priest outsmarts everybody, he beats up a cop. He's like a log line.
Sure.
In our movie, he outsmarts everybody, and he beats up a cop, right? But he beats up these cops that had done him wrong, and these ones that were really in the community fucking around.
Right.
So it wasn't like we said, let's make this a thing in this movie. It was already there.
Right.
We just updated it to speak to today, as opposed to what was going on. And then, you know, then there's some things that, like the car chase. We needed a car chase. We wanted a big car chase, and what have we not seen before? What if it happens in the park? What if they go through here? Well, we got to kill the bad guy. Well, what if he hits a statue? What if it's a Confederate statue?
Yes.
Then he knocks, the statue comes down. And like, so there's elements. Again, everything always came from starting at the movie. What's best for the movie? What are we trying to do? And then it built up to a point that we felt great about it, that also would speak to our audience.
Right.
But we were never like, oh, I want to do something with a statue. Oh, I want to do something with it. We never tried to force the movie to go where we wanted it to go. We let it go where it needed to go, and we ended up having something that, as much, even though it's a big, fun action movie, and, you know, if you're looking to, this isn't where you come for your drug dealing tips.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not going to get a real inside scoop on Atlanta drug culture here. But you'll have a good time, and it'll be like a big action movie. But we're able to touch on some things that are happening in the world.